Morning team. I am flying solo today without Robin, but I am chatting to Luke Latimer and Kirstie Law. Kirstie won the Arctic Spine Explorer and came in with Luke, and they were both joint second. I have so many questions. I have always been fascinated about Arctic, just being active in the Arctic and how you manage it is I find fascinating. As always, I should thank our sponsor, and this week is his Swiss Canyon Trail again. I don't know if you saw, but I published a recent press release on they've launched the first women's only race in September. Um, uh, as an entry point. And I think what was really key for me, I'm just going to try and find the paragraph, is that while it's positioned as a women-only event, organisers describe the race as preparation for mixed gender competition rather than an alternative to it, helping runners build experience, confidence before moving into longer or more competitive formats. And I think that's something a lot of people maybe lose sight of when we do single sex events, is that it's not designed to replace them. It's just designed to help encourage and just dip a toe in the water without feeling overly competitive and without the pressure. But without further ado, I shall admit our first guest. Not sure who it is. We shall wait to see who is going to join me first.
Hello.
Hi, Kirstie.
Hello,
How
hello.
are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yes, 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 I'm all right. I'm in the warm, so I'm all right.
I was going to say, yeah. Have
Yeah.
you warmed up?
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Pretty much instantly as soon as you get in from that temperature, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. I mean, I've it's just I've got so many questions. It's incredible. But how long has
yeah.
it been now?
We what day are we on Wednesday? Yeah, so we'd just finished now, 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
this will be the third week home. So it took a little while to, it takes a little while to sort of get yourself home actually, because there's flights and trains and all sorts of stuff and lots of kit to get home. So yeah. So but the actual race finished 3 weeks. Yeah, pretty much now actually, about two-ish we'd
Yeah.
finished. So yeah, 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 yeah. It
Brilliant.
seems a lifetime ago, and then it seems like yesterday.
Yeah. I
Yeah, yeah.
just Luke sent me his blog,
Oh yeah.
which was great. What are your thoughts on it, sort of now looking back 3 weeks on?
Um, there's the overall thing, and Luke said he'll just be a minute. He's just trying to find somewhere
That's
quiet.
fine. That's fine. Don't
um,
worry.
the overall thing for me as I came out of it, was initially as I'd finished was absolutely. I was scared. It was quite frightening. Well, it was very frightening out there,
Yeah.
and so that looking back on that, that's still it is still frightening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was as time passes, you tend to forget that, and I can feel that edging away. But I've got to always remember that it was really, really frightening out there.
Yeah.
Not physically, not anything. It was just the
The
cold. The
cold.
cold
Yeah.
was everywhere, and of course it's so remote. It's not like being on the Pennine Way where you can, you've got 4 or 5 miles, 6 miles max, and you drop down and you're somewhere. You're
Yeah.
nowhere. No
Yeah.
one's obviously there's safety teams and such like, but it's a long way for them to get in. So
Yeah.
and that cold, because we're not used to it from this country. It was something I couldn't train for. It was something that I knew was going to scare me, and by God, it did. Yeah, it was really cold. It was really, really cold. So overall, looking back, that still is a big thing. However, the beauty of the Arctic is
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's stunning,
Yeah.
absolutely stunning. And we travelled through some mountains and passes, and glacial valleys, and they just had offshoots of these mini valleys, and you look down and you just think, God, that's so beautiful, but so scary. Imagine if you got stuck down there, and it was just
Yeah.
so remote. That's what I
Yeah. Yeah.
felt, so remote and so scary, but so beautiful.
Was
So
it your
yeah.
first Arctic
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
adventure?
Well, yes, I've been up to the Arctic a long, long time. I lived in Norway for a little while. I used to ride horses for a living. And so I was working out in Norway for a while. And the vet who we were working with was flying up weirdly to the Arctic Circle. And he said, "Do you want to come with me in the helicopter? And we've got to check out some reindeer." As you do. I was very, I don't, yes,
Yeah,
of
sure.
course. So we went up to the Arctic, and that was my experience of it. But I've never been back, and that I'm talking, I was early 20s then. But yeah, so it's somewhere I've always wanted to go to, and
Yeah.
I thought I'd really, really like it, and I
Yeah.
have really, really liked it and enjoyed it. But the remoteness of the race, so the race is slightly different to just the Arctic. It's, if you can come in at the end of a day out in the Arctic and have
No,
a
of course.
nice
Yeah.
fire and all of that, it's beautiful. But just being out there, that was a scary thing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Has it, I mean, with that respect for the cold, do you not have a
Yeah.
little bit more confidence? Do you think if you went back, do you think
Yeah.
you'd deal with it differently because you kind of know now how to deal with it?
Yeah, yes, to a certain extent. Yeah, yeah, for sure. So it's like anything, isn't it? It's like when you're working up to do the spine, you sort of every time you do it, you think, oh yeah, I can do that better. You put that into place for next time, and then and also with experience, things become easier. You sort
Hmm.
of but I've still got that thing of -33 where you just think if
Yeah.
something goes wrong, like if you roll an ankle on a ski and you can't move fast enough to keep warm, that's where your trouble lies. And yeah, yeah. So I suppose yes, there's definite things. And my kit was great. Don't get me wrong, my kit was amazing, and everything worked. And I think we had slightly lower than normal temperatures, but hey, it is what it is, isn't it? I
Yeah.
think the scary thing for me as well was it was, and Luke will probably say this as well. It was calm. It was quiet. We hardly had
Yes.
any wind, and it
Yes.
was still minus um 33. If you'd have had that plus the wind, my God, I can't even imagine what that
Or
would.
or a blizzard.
Or a blizzard, yeah, yeah, or a
Yeah.
blizzard. We had in the day we had bright blue skies,
Mm.
and at one point I sort of thought, oh, I'll just have myself 10 minutes on the top of this pulp, just get have a little 8 minute, 10 minute nap. But you
Yeah.
wake up
Yeah.
so cold. It's
No.
just it's not something that can happen. So yeah, I think there are things definitely that you can do to improve, and I think for me, I think the overall thing, and Luke will probably say, I don't know what, probably say the same, that the whole thing is you can't bully your way through there. Like on the spine, you can go with less sleep, you can
You can
push a bit
force.
quicker, you
Yeah.
can force things out there. There's just no room for it. And so I think it really hit home what Phil had been saying to us, Phil Hayday Brown and all the team who were training us, is that it is an expedition race, and you have to stop and you have to eat
Mm.
and you have to drink and you have to sleep to be able to work your way down that course. So that's quite a new thing, sort of, because hello.
Hello,
Let's
can
welcome
you hear me?
Luke.
Because it's really noisy everywhere. Sorry, I had a
That's
job
fine.
interview and it overran.
We can't hear anything else. Welcome, welcome. I was
Good.
just
Hi.
saying to Kirsty, I read your blog,
Oh,
um, so which has
bit
given
long.
me a great insight
Sorry.
actually, and I think yeah, it hit home, or you make it very clear about the cold and the danger and the warnings that Phil gave, um, and yeah, I mean, even at the end there, when Kirsty had a little scare with her hands, um, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show just one tiny thing, and it can all go terribly wrong.
That's the thing I think we both found in Luke, that it just spirals so much quicker than any other environment. So if you're on the Pennine Way, you've got a bit of room. Well, not much room, but you've got a bit of room for error
No,
out there. There's no room for
so
error at
quickly.
all.
And I think, like Kirstie was just saying, can't do.
I think Luke's having a bit of problems with his internet
My,
connection. Sorry, Luke. Maybe you could find somewhere else and we'll chat. We'll keep. Oh, he's gone.
oh, it's gone. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
you find
So I
somewhere
think,
else. Yeah. So
yeah.
what was that like for you? I mean, you sort of you couldn't. What was it? Because you couldn't feel your hands. Is that what alerted you?
Yeah, so so me and Luke had done so when you're doing the Explorer, you're involved in a 3-day training course before you start the race, and you have to do an assessment, and you have to pass the assessment before they allow you to race. So
Yeah.
it was a really, really good thing for me in the fact that I'd always wanted to do these types of races or have a go at it, but I
Mm.
had no cold weather experience at all. And so with that, you'd have to go and then do a cold weather course somewhere cold, and
Yeah.
then you'd have to then have the expense of then going to enter the race afterwards. So it would mean going to those cold environments twice.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I just couldn't afford to do that. So
No.
when they sort of put the 3-day cold weather course on the front of the race, I just thought,
Yeah.
yes, that makes really good sense. And if I don't pass the assessment, there's a damn good reason why I don't pass the assessment, and that's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so coming back to my fingers, they talked, obviously their medics were there, and they talked about frostbite, they talked about how getting your fingers warm, how to recognize those things that are going on. And so with anything, you need to keep your liner gloves on, whatever happens. Aha, he's back. Um, Keep your liner gloves on at all times. And we were just on our way out, about 4 miles from the end, and it was really cold, about -32, -33.
Yeah.
And we'd sort of needed to stop just to refuel and everything. And we saw this little shelter right on the edge of the lake, and we sort of said, "Oh, we'll head in there," which. Like Luke said, I think because you've got 4 walls around you, you think you're going to be safe. And so I can't remember whether I took my liner off or what had happened, but I just felt these 3 fingers suddenly go hard more than anything. So it wasn't just cold hands; it was like feeling them going hard, and I knew something was very, very different.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's how quick these things can happen. So the only way then is to try and get them warm. And
Yeah.
rather than what they taught us, rather than swinging them through cold air, is to do now whether Phil Hayday Brown made this up, I don't know. But you have to do this sort of penguin thing where you sort of like lift and jump your arms around, so it basically fires all the blood
Because
back
you're
around.
pumping it down there,
So
aren't
you're
you?
pumping it down there.
Pumping it, yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
that's what we did.
I knew something was wrong because no, I was just saying, Kirstie said she was either eating or talking and she was doing neither, so I knew something was wrong.
Cheeky beggar. Always talking. Luke won't get a word. In fact, Luke, I've already told it the whole story. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The podcast is
There's
done
nothing
and
left to
dusted.
say,
10
Luke.
minutes.
I've chatted my way through the lot.
Oh, funny. So what I wasn't quite clear about is, did you guys know each other beforehand?
Are you going to tell the story, Luke? You chatter on.
Turns out we did. Well, it turns out we did. It was only a couple of days in. Kirstie said, I recognise your voice. And I said, oh, yeah. Well, it's quite distinctive, I suppose. Well, like posh Englishman. And she said, are you on the summer spine? I said, yeah, 2021. And I said, oh, did you have a blue coat? And did you give me painkillers? And yeah, it turned out we were going up Pen again together.
Oh, right. Okay. And
So
was this,
we
was
shared our
this,
drugs at the bottom.
sorry, which spine was this?
Yes, 2021, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
Somewhere. I'd gone
2021.
back.
It was. I tell you which one it was, Luke.
Yes.
It was the one where it was a COVID type of thing, and we got set off at different
It
times.
was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
no, I was supposed to do
Yeah.
2021 and it was cancelled the week before, so maybe 22.
Oh, really?
maybe It was a summer. It was a summer one
It
though,
could have
not the
been. It was
winter.
around that time.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah,
No,
I'd
oh,
gone
sorry.
back
Yes, the
to,
summer one. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we actually had
yeah,
met.
yeah,
We shared drugs at the bottom of
we
Penny
had met.
Gates.
Yeah. And then I got to the top, I looked round and Kirsty was nowhere to be seen. I was like, oh, well, okay, carry on then.
Oh, funny. Okay. Oh, well, that's great. I mean, so and was the first time you knew she was there, Luke, when you saw her on the train?
Yeah, in the training, no, in the training course. There's a couple of days in, I think.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, but you took yeah, on your blog you were taking the train up from Abisko.
Oh, yeah, that was Paul I met on the train.
Oh,
Who
okay.
was doing the challenger, but was also doing the same training course, so yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So gosh, I mean, I was really interested, Luke, in what you were saying about the how you were fighting that competitive side of you, and sort of battling that competitive edge, as you were saying, um, about you can't force it. You've got to be sensible. You've got to stop. You've got to eat. You've got to rest. Um, and actually, you proved that it worked. That if you when you weren't worrying about what the other competitors were doing, and you did stop and do what you needed to do when you did it, and you came joint second. Um, does that change your future perspective on competitiveness, do you think?
Yeah, I think I was thinking about it a lot this morning. I think it's completely changed it. I'm a very competitive person. I always want to be the best and be at the front. But I think when you relinquish all that thinking from your brain and let it focus on everything else, it all just goes
Survival.
so much smoother. Yeah, survival, yes. But it frees up your brain in a way, and you relax. And I think you just perform better. I felt I did, and I really enjoyed it, which was lovely.
Why did you both enter it? What made you take that step?
Go on,
Kirsty.
Luke. You say. Go on. What
Mm.
you?
Well, they floated this idea for quite a long time. This fine team doing an Arctic version,
Yes.
and when I first saw it, it just sounded completely out of my comfort zone. Like so far out of my comfort zone. I thought, I wonder if I could do that, and it piqued that interest. And then when it actually happened again last year, and then they released this training course, I thought, wow, I've got to try. I've got to see if I can do it. Just to see what it's like to be somewhere so hostile and so different from
Mm,
everything else I've ever done.
mm.
Yeah, that was pretty much the same. The same for me. I always wanted to go and see if I could do, maybe not even a race, but whether I would like it in that sort of environment. Whether I could do expeditions, whether I could work and be okay in that sort of environment. Not, I suppose, not lose your head really, and keep calm and work on through it. And then, like Luke said, once they put that training course tagged onto it, as I said to you before, Kate, it just became an accessible thing that you could do rather than having to go and train and then come back and do a
Yes.
race another
Yeah.
time. Really, you could just fit it into one thing and have this experience to see whether it's sort of, well, it felt a little bit more than dipping your toe in it when you're actually out there, but it is the smaller race of the three, and it really does give you an amazing experience and an insight into what the big stuff's really about. I mean, I
Yeah.
watched when Kev Lear did it first of all, and it was -40 when he did it, and he just kept going and kept going and kept going, and the spine team was sort of moving down, and I was intrigued as to whether anyone could actually do it. And then obviously people have done that and moved down the course, and that to stay out there in what, 9 days, 9.5 days, they have that. That's a whole different ball game to what
Yeah.
we've just done. Yeah, yeah, completely, and absolutely in awe of those guys that were out there that long. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it gives you a really good it gives you a really good taster, and it's just one of those things. Like Luke says, I wonder whether I can. I wonder whether little old me can get out there and do it. So
Mm.
that's what. Yeah.
So have you done the full winter spine?
So I've got to Tan Hill on the full winter span and then had an injury. But I've done the two winter challenge, all challenges, summer and winter, and the full summer as well. Yeah. But
And
Luke's done full winter.
yeah. And is that, but I mean, was that sort of almost a prerequisite even before doing the course before the race?
Yeah, you have to have a chat to Phil about your experience and things.
Yeah.
So yes, you have to have done something similar, or obviously if you're more on from the Scandinavian side, you might have done things that are up there in the Arctic or cold weather stuff before that. So not everyone sort of comes from the spine background. But yes, you need to have a chat with Phil to see whether, and he then, how I see it, he sort of slots you in accordingly to whatever race he thinks you're all right for, really.
Well, that sounds sensible, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So you have to have this conversation with him for sure. Yeah.
So are you tempted now?
Luke, are you tempted?
He's dropped off again, I'm afraid. Is all
Where's he gone? Oh,
terrible.
it's too early to say yet, Kate. I'm still struggling with the. It was frightening. It was scary, and the next step up would be to double that distance.
Yeah.
And we did 2 nights, 3 days out there. So you're looking at five days, 5 nights. 5 days really. Um,
And how often do you actually get your tent up?
so I wanted to do it. I wanted to have the full experience. So a little bit different to Luke. Luke was competing. He was racing a bit more. I had. I just wanted to survive.
Yeah.
But what I did want to do is I wanted to camp one night. I thought it would take me 2 nights. I might even have gone into the third night. I wasn't sure, but I wanted to camp definitely one night. But I also wanted to experience an emergency hut as well, which are out there. And these are huts that are within a group of buildings that in the summer will be full of people, and everyone's a bit like a youth hostel in effect. But in the winter, they just leave one door open, and it's the one with an antennae on the roof for it. So it's got a satellite phone, it's got an emergency phone in there. Sometimes it's got a stove, sometimes not. Sometimes they're very basic.
Yeah.
And you could stay in those. So I wanted to do that. So the second night we stayed in one of those, which was different. And so I felt like I'd had the full experience. If I'd have had my time again, if I come back again, I get a different tent. I hired my tent because I don't really need a 4 season tent in this country. Do you know what I mean? And the expense of it is quite a lot. So I hired one, which was a single, more like a little, called it the coffin tent, because it was very small. It was all right. It was absolutely fine. It held up to the job, but it was small. So I go for a bigger tent because weight isn't as much of an issue because you're pulling it rather than carrying it.
Yes.
And I was just terrified of getting my stove in this tent because
Yeah.
if it went up, I mean, it's hundreds of pounds worth. But equally, I just didn't want to burn down. I didn't want to burn down.
I'm not worried about the tent, Kirsty. It's you I'm worried about.
It was me,
Well, your
so I didn't want
sleeping
to
bag
catch
wasn't
fire.
great, was it, Kirsty?
You what? Sorry, Lou.
You said you were cold when you were camping. Your sleeping bag wasn't thick
Absolutely,
enough.
yeah. So I was cold when I was camping, and that was, I think, as well. So I never really had the option of being able to get the stove in, whereas you got your stove in your tent, didn't you, and dried everything out and got
Yeah,
warm, which I think
yeah.
was a difference. So I changed my stove. It's not my stove. I changed my tent for sure to go back and do it again. Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if you were on the longer one, would you would by necessity be putting it up and taking it down, and that would become more natural. Whereas I think maybe because you're on the shorter one and only did it once,
Yeah.
it wasn't a habit. It wasn't, you didn't have to do it without thinking. You had to think about everything you were doing because it was also
Yes.
strange.
And just little things like, you'd know for next time as it in minus 30 odd, or minus, like when it gets to minus 30, things change, and all your buckles become really brittle, the poles stick together in your tent. So everything becomes harder and it's colder. So it like adds a layer of more hardness, if that makes sense. So yeah, I was saying to Luke earlier on in the week, I think if I had my time again, I'd go. I know my local butcher quite well. I'd just go in his freezer and spend my time putting my tent up and down and training his freezer. He doesn't know this yet, doesn't Steve? But training his freezer and take things to bits and just see how things work a lot more. Because that physically it was okay, but the management of yourself and your kit was by far the hardest thing. Would you agree, Luke?
Yeah. We talked a lot about gloves the other day, and at the last minute, I bought these new gloves, and I could do everything with them. I could put my scent up. I couldn't go to the living room, but I could do most other things, and that made a huge difference. And then my fingers right.
And I think you were worried, Luke, weren't you, initially about your hands? You had a particular thing about your hands, didn't you?
Yeah, very worried.
But did you get over that? Do you feel like you've sort of learned how to deal with it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's things that seem really obvious now, like don't have layers that are too tight so that air can circulate and become insulation. It's so obvious. Or, don't restrict blood flow, things like that. And once you know it, you don't forget it.
Yeah. Well, you don't know what you don't know.
No.
So I mean, training wise, obviously, I suppose it's not that much different to training for the spine as such, is it? Because you can't train for the cold, so you're training for the distance. But I mean, do you drag a tire or something like that to learn how to deal with a pulk?
I had my
I'll let Kirstie talk at length about that.
and
But
then we'll let Luke carry on about he's still complaining about his hips.
I don't do any specific training.
And your hips are paying, aren't they?
Yeah, my hips are really sore still.
So
I just did my usual gym and running.
So I trained with a tyre for near enough a year. So I got my mate's a mechanic, so I got various different sizes of tyres and added each one as I went along. But yeah, I dragged my tyre all over, took him everywhere, gave him a name because I used to swear at him quite a lot, called Sydney. And he and towards the end of the trip, well, all through really, but I dragged him up and down beaches in Scotland when I went away. I dragged him, but mainly here over the moors. And so, on like the Pennine moors, they're all tussocky and things. I dragged him a lot over things like that. So he'd get caught and I'd get pulled and yanked about. So I just guessed that would be what the pulk would do to me. So I got stronger, sort of like little stabilizing muscles that would help. I just thought if I could get as strong as I possibly could before I had this pulk on. And that seemed to really work. I never really had a problem. Well, the pulk tipped me over a couple of times, as it did yours did, didn't it, Luke? And when you laid under this pulk with your skis up in the air, like at 2 a.m. in the pitch dark, you think, Jesus Christ.
So it really
It's the pulk tip.
you when you're going up that hill to the hut.
Yeah. Really, yeah. So strength in the pulling rather than the carrying was a lot, wasn't it?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the pulk's on. So the pulk is on. Well, there's 2 ways you can do it. The pulk is either on like metal rods which attach to your harness. And so that's stable. The theory is that stabilizes you a bit if you're going through more mountainous terrain, or you can have a loose trace, which is more of a rope trace, which Paul, our friend Paul, who was on the training course, he had a rope trace, but it was all over the place, and he called this thing the mad dog. It was just.
Well, yes, and I suppose it would be
out behind him the whole time. Yes, yeah. So there's swings and roundabouts to either, but whenever we stopped, we had to unclip the big we'd put some big carabiners on so that you could unclip them with your gloves, but you had to unclip because you couldn't get to the back get to your pulk to get your food, etc. So you had to unclip a lot more. Whereas if you had a loose trace, you could just walk back to your pulk at any time. But I felt it did, I was unsure about which one would be better, but it did stabilise you much, much more. But when it did flip you up, so if you were on a camber or if you were traversing and your pulk went over, it just tipped you over as well. And then there's the whole scenario of how do I get up with my skis on, with a pulk fastened to me in the middle of the night, in the dark. You're like an upturned beetle, just.
Oh my goodness.
So
Oh,
that was fun. So in the end, most of the time, if I was going down anything more than a small slope, I'd just take my skis off, pass them to my pulk, and then just leg it like a loon.
oh really?
Yeah.
Did you not just sit on it and then treat it
I
like
did. I did have a go at that, but what happened was, as I brought the metal back, and because the metal work is then not attached to you going uphill, the pulk goes down quite a bit at the front, and it soon wedges, and it just tipped me straight out. So because I'd done a lot of sledging in my time, obviously Yorkshire
yeah,
hills,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah. So that I tried a lot of things, but I found running, legging it down hills. Luke's a lot better skier than me, and he had his ski touring ones, and he could take his skins off, so he went downhill a lot more. But I just ran them. I just ran the hills really.
So is it up to you how what you
All
wear
works.
to pull? I mean, can you wear skis? Can you wear boots?
Yeah. So you can have skis or
Yeah,
snowshoes
photos.
are available to you as well. And I think, look, one of the guys finished purely on snowshoes, didn't he? On the Challenger, I
Yeah,
believe.
on the Challenger or something else. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So he didn't
But
ski
I
at
think that'd
all.
be really hard work.
Yeah,
Yes, shoes are very hard. I've only tried them once, but they're very difficult to walk in.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I think he finished. Yeah, so you can do that.
Yeah.
I also threw in my, which I used for the first probably half day. I got like Sportiva, or I forget what they're called now. They're like ice running boot types things to the Gore-Tex, and you can,
Yeah.
um, do you know what I mean? You can use them in the spine and whatever. They've got little studs underneath, and so I just trotted along where it was quite nice and flat and a bit hard, where the skidoos had been early doors in the first Abisko National Park. I could trot along quite happily with those on. But as soon as the snow got deep, then you just have to go and get your skis on. It's just too, I mean, it was sort of thigh deep in places, so you need your skis on for that, obviously. Yeah.
Are you skinning along? I mean, is it flat or so are you touring or are you on
Undu- undulating.
undulating? So are you skinning along, Claire?
So yeah, I had my skins on most of the time. Yeah.
You did, didn't you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and on mine, I hired mine. Well, no, they come with the course. So if you're on the training course, you get as the entry fee, you get skis, you get a pulk, you get harness, and those skis come with they're like fishtail
Yeah.
skin, fishtails underneath, but then you've got a skin as well, so you can take the skins off, but they're a bit of a faff, not like Luke's, which are more ski touring ones where you can whip them on and off a bit more. So my skin stayed on the whole time. I just got off my skis and ran.
Okay. Oh wow, gosh. I mean, there's just so much stuff to think about, isn't there?
Tons, and that's before we've even talked about the stove, which was for me the most terrifying thing.
Yeah, so is it petrol in those temperatures? I can't remember what the
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I think they call it something slightly different, but yes, essentially that it is a petrol. It's petrol that doesn't freeze, and you have to pump the petrol into the little. It's like a little dish that it appears in, and then you just light it, and poof, it just
Terrifying.
explodes. Really terrifying, isn't it, Luke?
It
Terrifying.
really is. Yeah, really is.
Oh, funny.
I did a lot of practice in the summer, but it's not the same.
So yeah, what did you eat? What was your favorite meal out out there?
Jammy Dodgers for me. So I lasted the this sound very terrible. My nutrition was appalling, wasn't it, Luke? Luke did
Yeah.
much better and managed to eat some things. I had put well, not stupidly. It was just I'm just not good for the first 24 hours in any race. I throw up. I generally I'm just not good, and I don't want to eat anything. So I knew this was going to happen. And it generally does happen. But what I hadn't accounted for was the absolute calorie deficit that you're getting just because of the cold. And so in the first night, I was fine whilst I was on the flat. I couldn't really get a right lot down. I was trying, and I had some dehydrated meals and what have you. I was getting a bit down, but then I just started to faint. So I started to pass out, and
What, because through lack of nutrition?
yeah, which is not ideal in minus 20 whatever on a mountainside.
It's really not ideal.
No.
Yeah, laughing now, but it really wasn't. Obviously, wasn't funny at the time. So I would go. I was climbing this hill, and I could see there's John Bamber. You'll know John Bamber, Kate. Yeah. So he's obviously at Greg's hut normally. He's at this little hut,
Okay.
miles up in the air in the Arctic. Generally, with just his t-shirt on, boiling water for everybody. John Bamber style. He's such a hero. Anyway, I could see this red light up in the sky, and you're trying to get to it, dragging this pulk and everything. But I kept feeling faint, and so I'd have to unclip, take my pulk off, park it up on a because obviously it's on a slope, so make sure it wasn't going to slide away, and then lay down on the floor. Because I knew I was going to faint or pass out, so I didn't want to do it with the pulk on and my skis. So I'd lay down, and twice I passed out, but at the third time I came round. And anyway, and then with my head slightly down the slope so the blood would come back, and then eat a little bit of something, get going again. So this went on for a little while I went up, and then eventually I got up to John Bamber's, and he's sat outside, and in his typical now then, lass, how are you doing? You seem to be doing all right. And I just went, John, I just keep passing out all the time. It's awful.
Uh, Funny.
So they got me inside and got the medics to me. They did a blood sugar test and everything. It was fine. And I sort of said, this does happen. I don't normally pass out, but I have done before on the spine. But it doesn't. I said it's just lack of food. I've just got to calm down. I've got to get food inside me. And so they were fine. But I was glad they did check me. It wasn't somewhere where you just think, oh, don't tell the medic. You really. It was scary stuff out there. So I needed to be checked that everything was all right. And I just had a big hot meal, got my head down, and then from there on, I never got faint again. But it's just trying to get the calories in, and I'd put all my food in one big bag, which you. So I had cheese, I had salamis, and it was just horrible. The whole thing was just horrible. And when you're feeling sick, it's just not very nice. And then Luke eventually came to my rescue because he found some jammy Dodgers in his pulk. So for the last 24 hours, I survived off jammy Dodgers and a bit of porridge. Which, I mean, jammy Dodgers, they were frozen, but if you just put them in your mouth, eventually they warm up, and I still had 2 left when I finished as well.
Really? So I had a great time with food. I love airline food, so I had my expedition food pouches, and I was very happy.
Yeah, that worked well for you.
Yeah.
So at what point did you make the decision to run together, or stick together rather?
It was the end of the beginning of the second night. We were both at the top 2, and I was tired. I decided not to carry on my, to be honest. But it was so busy there, and it was such a horrible place. I thought, and I really didn't fancy camping. And when Kirstie was there, and she said, "Well, I'm not camping. I'm going to Kebekinazi hut halfway to the finish." I just thought, perfect. And that was because we kind of leapfrogged each other, and we just stopped for a chat and a bit of food, make sure each other were okay. And then it was really dark there, and really cold, even though it was only 5 to 1. And just thought, I think we both thought we'd like to have some company.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially as there was no one ahead of us, and the people behind us were fit with them.
Uh,
It was just nice to have a bit of company, to be honest. And we got to the hut. There was Paul. We'd sort of been leapfrogging a bit, hadn't we, Luke? And there was Paul, a friend who had been on the training course. The training course was
Yeah,
amazing, just out of interest. And there was quite a
it
few others
was.
on it. So you were looking out for each other the whole time. But Paul was going on to he was doing the Challenger, so he was going directly south, whereas we were then turning and heading east. And so it was just really dark, and we were, other than Carlos, there was nobody gone down that valley, so we knew it was a little bit edgy down there. They got some the skidoo guy, the Salmi had come in with the medics, and they come in on the skidoo, and they said it's a bit of overflow, and very, very slippy. So we just sort of
well,
thought it would be better to travel together, really, and just more pleasant. But that valley was so
And
cold,
also,
wasn't it, Luke? So cold down.
it
I mean,
was so cold. Yeah,
stars were just unbelievable. You could have touched them, couldn't you? It was just so black, and the stars were amazing. But by God, it
yeah,
was cold down there, so cold. And that's when you got really cold, wasn't it, Luke?
it was. Yeah, after I got sweaty trying to catch you up the hill.
yeah, well, that's one of the biggest things, isn't it? Is don't sweat. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
uh,
yes,
yeah, it's such a difficult thing to manage, especially when you're going up and then coming down. And did you find that, Kirsty, or I don't know?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's something that I'm sort of steady away anyway. I'm a bit of a plodder. So once I've done my first 24 hours of getting far too excitable, throwing up, passing out, I generally steady up then a little bit, and I'm sort of and then I'm sort of into adventure mode, and that's all right. So that particular day I was all right. Mine was the day before where my body temperatures were all over and I couldn't get enough food and such like. So my body must have sort of steadied up a bit. I was very sleep deprived at that point, which I wouldn't do again because I'd only had about an hour and a half in the tent. So I was on to the second night, and going into the second night when you have much sleep is not good, and which is fine if you're in okay temperatures, but when you've got to be really thinking straight, it isn't ideal. But I think it was all right. I knew I had to get to the hut. I would never have attempted, because Luke had we'd had a discussion early on in the day, and I said, Luke, you're quick enough. You can get to the finish tonight. And he said, yeah, I'm definitely going to go for it, which I was pleased about. So I was quite surprised then when I saw him at the hut, but. I think you definitely made a good call there, Luke, because it was a long, long way down that valley and out of there, to do on your own. And it's just
yeah.
nice with company. So I think other than sleep deprivation, we did all right down there. Um, the
Going? You just kept going
Yeah,
to this
yeah.
valley.
the only as I left as we both left, sort of like the it's not a hut, it's like a checkpoint really, where they just check to see if you're all right, and there's a medic in there and what have you. And I said to Alex, who's the assistant race director, I said, I'm definitely staying at the hut. I wasn't 100% sure what Luke was doing then. I said, but I'm definitely staying at the hut because the transceiver things, I was useless at them. I'm not very good at them. So I said, whatever happens, Alex, if I stop at that hut, I'm fine. I'm fine. So I don't, in effect, saying I don't really need to ring in, do I, Alex? Because that's where I'm going to be. But he said, oh, still let us know. So, but he said, Kirsty, it's a hell of a long way up the hillside from the valley to this hut. And I said, oh, I don't mind. We'll be fine.
Mm.
But how long was that hill, Luke? How long was that blooming hill to get up to the never ending?
'Cause, yeah, Alex said to me, when you see the red light, check your nav. And we said, that's on top of a mountain. That can't be it.
Oh dear.
It was. It was on top of a mountain, and it was it.
I can remember you saying, Luke, you said, no, I've looked at the map and it's only 400. It's only 400. No, you said the hut's only 400 and that mast looks about 800. And I said, oh, thank goodness for that. And we plodded on again. And then when we eventually got up to the hut, I just looked to the side and there's the bloody great big red antenna right next to us. I said, if it is 800, we've just about climbed it because it's there.
Oh, wow. So when you say you're like climbing a mountain, I mean you're presumably skinning up it. So
Yes.
what's the terrain like? I mean, is it woody? Is it rocky? Is it just completely blanketed in snow?
That particular
All,
section
all
going
of
up to
it.
there was wooded, wasn't it? We kept getting caught on roots and things, or I kept getting caught on roots. Um, but the climbing up to John Bamber's hut was just like climbing up just an open mountain.
Yeah.
So because there you climbed up to I think it's 1,100 and something up there where John was. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's like climbing just and there's no tree line there at all. But where we were on this second hut, there was you were climbing up through bushes, trees, little shrubs, a bit rocky. Um,
So is
and the lakes, there was a lot of lake and there was a bit of open water down there as well, which I can never understand why there is water at -33, but that's something else I've got to learn.
uh,
But yeah,
moving.
yeah, moving straight off
Moving,
the
yeah.
mountains. Yeah, so the higher up you are, like if it's coming down out of a valley and it's coming into the lake that you're crossing, then you can get some open water sometime and some running water, which avoid at all costs, obviously.
So is the snow cover quite thin then, if you're saying you're tripping over roots and things?
Yeah, in places it can be. Yeah, it depends sometimes as we're getting closer to the way out towards Nicaragua or wherever we finished, that was a little bit more used. So some skidoos have been in. So that was you know. But when you're right out in the sticks, there's tons of snow covering. But yeah, you're in amongst trees, so you're negotiating your skis round trees, your pulk round trees and climbing at the same time. So yeah, when you're sleep deprived and quite
Is it like
tired.
towing a horse box?
Yes. Yes. Well, I drive buses for a living. So at one yeah. So it was very much like manoeuvring a double-decker bus round. I kept thinking of the analogy. Yeah.
Brilliant. And was it marked well? I mean, did you have GPXs? How did you deal with the course itself?
Luke, do you want to do the nav? You were on it with your nav.
But well, yeah, I mean, the summer route is marked with red crosses every 50 meters, which is bonkers. So, when you're used to the Pennine Way, that's that marks too. But then the winter, sorry.
We can't hear you,
No,
him, Kirsty.
You can't.
that's
Has
the
Luke gone again? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can hear
So
him.
okay. So the nav it's an interesting one. They have big red cross markers every 50 meters on the summer route.
Okay.
So it's really well marked. Is that? However, there's lots of different trails coming through, so you can't rely on that one being exact all the way down. Um, and that's the summer route. So the winter route is like a ski touring winter route would be. It's sort of like the fastest line through and over anything. We had a GPX file or GPX files that we could download, but last year the snow wasn't that thick and they had a lot of ice and they had a lot of not a lot of problems, but a few people went into open water. Not not desperately dangerously, but enough that eventually they sort of said, right, you're going to have to go round some of the lakes rather than straight across them.
Yeah.
So the GPX file, if you followed it to the letter this year, would take you on last year's, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that included going around a lot of the lakes when the best route was straight through it. Now, the open lakes are amazing and scary. But when they first freeze, the Sami, the reindeer herder guys who live up there, the indigenous, they're just amazing, and they find the best route across that lake, and then they'll drill holes in that, and they put your sticks in, not for our race, but for anyone traveling.
Yeah.
And so, as long as you can follow those sticks across the lake, you've got a safe passage.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of them are miles long, and you've got to sort of switch your brain off from the fact that you're above like Windermere or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just, if you think too much about it, and they make immense noises, so it cracks, it bangs, it sounds sometimes in the middle of the night like an avalanche is about to happen. So it can be real that can it
That must
yeah,
be.
you just got to hold your nerve with it and just think these guys and girls know exactly what they're doing and they're sending us on the safe passage across.
Yeah.
Obviously, sometimes you can see there might be a little bit of what they call overflow, which is water on top of that. I can't really exactly remember how it does, but you can see it and you've got to go around it. But sometimes it looks like it's open water, but it's not, it's just ice. So there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of looking where you are on the ground, is what I'm saying, rather than just blindly going forwards. Luckily for us, the Scandinavian guys and the had put some tracks in, but obviously as we turned off, there was no tracks at all. So so yeah, and your map is as good as anything. Your map has pretty much everything on it. So we did use the map quite a lot. Not so much your compass, but more the map, seeing what's coming up next.
Yeah.
Which was good. But yeah, the GPSs and GPS files they were a check. They were a check. But weirdly, and me, Luke, and Paul had said this when we had a conversation the other day. I had my handheld in my pouch, which I thought would be bomb proof. And I thought my watch on the outside of everything was a little bit of a trial. See what happens to this, whether or not it's going to work. And we all said exactly the same. And the watches were brilliant. They stayed. They never lost battery.
What
I was
kind
amazed.
you wore?
Well, mine's a Chorus. I think Luke's was a different one. I think we all had different makes and brands.
They
But
were,
you'd think it would be the first thing to go,
yeah.
you know, because it wasn't even touching our skin.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they were brilliant. So if you just needed a quick check, but like I say, the GPX file on that was last year's, so you
It was,
might have been way off track of where you were on the ground. So the map with the winter route on was probably the most reliable thing
also
to follow,
most
really.
scary to follow.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, a lot of it was seeing what's in front of you, but obviously in the middle of the night it can be tricky. But every now and again there would be some, some open water or something, and you just think, oh, let's get away from that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So yeah, gosh.
scary. So, I mean, has it changed your perception of cold? Are you, I mean, obviously you're a proper northern lass anyway, but
Yeah,
such a different, I think people don't understand, do they, that how the sort of dry cold versus what we have.
yeah, yeah. People sort of say, "Oh, it'll be all right. It's dry cold." No, it's really not all right. It's really, really cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's really, really, it's still cold. It's really, really cold. And I think the difference is, they all sort of say, oh, 1 degrees and blowing a gale and everything is really dangerous on the Pennine Way. Yeah, yeah, I get that. It really is. But -30 is absolutely,
Yes.
um, uh, yeah, death stuff. You can't survive out there. If you got in a bivvy on the Pennine Way, in a bit of a ditch out of the wind somewhere at those, you'd be all right. If you laid down in -33 in a bivvy out there, you wouldn't be all right. You see what I mean? So it is very different, but
Another extreme.
I think it's much scary. I think Luke might disagree because but I think it was scarier than the winter spine by tenfold.
I had
I'm
some
not actually selling.
pretty.
Oh, look.
No, oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me
Sorry.
now?
Yes. Go on, keep.
Fantastic. Sorry, I had some very scary moments on the winter spine, but
Yeah.
um, it was a different kind of thing. I think you're looking back at it now, it was quite benign in a sense.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, that's interesting though, isn't it? So, do you think you would approach the spine with more confidence if you went back?
If I went back, I would feel better equipped. I think I would understand my kit more, and I would understand heat and moisture and insulation. Yeah, I think I would feel a lot more confident. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still a long way though.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I mean, you've got to remember we're banging on about the cold all the time. We only did well. They say 66 miles. I think they said, Luke, didn't it? We both clocked about 81 miles that we
Yeah,
did,
yeah, yeah,
which is very different to 268 or whatever the spine is. So
yeah.
physically, the spine is the long winter spine is physically exhausting. And neither of us, we both trained well, so we didn't actually find the physical side that exhausting, did we? It was
No.
much. We both talked about the mental
Literally.
uh, anxiety of keeping warm that was the main problem, wasn't it?
I- And I think, after just 2.5 days in that environment, and I had nightmares for 2 weeks afterwards,
I'm still.
and my
Really?
watch said I burnt, yeah, my watch said I burnt 27,000 calories in 2.5 days. Was probably about right. So if we were doing it for 7, I think I would be in all manner of in a really bad place still.
It's not.
Yeah.
Are you pleased you did it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Just like, the biggest adventure, and I don't know about you, Luke, but the thing I'm most proud of is this. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Having done
Me
many
too.
different things at the spine, and challenges, and adventures, and climb mountains and stuff, this is the one I'm really, really proud of. Yeah, for sure. Because we got through. It felt like we just tiptoed through by the skin of our teeth, and just got out there by looking after ourselves.
Yeah. I think it was the biggest test I've done of kit management, mental
Yeah.
management, everything, like all of it, and not panicking. What did we say to each other towards the end? Like, there's no point screaming. So keep
No one's going to
calm.
hear you.
No one's gonna hear you, so don't panic. Just figure it out and move quickly. And I think all that working well was just so pleasing because it's could easily have not.
Do you think you came to rely on each other?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think, yeah, it was nice to rely on each other and to have each other's backs, I think.
Mm.
Yeah,
I do think if either of us had been on our own, we would have coped.
yeah.
Do you? So you would have coped, but it was much more pleasant and really, really nice to have each other, for sure.
It
Go on, Luke.
No, I was gonna say I completely agree. And also just having that shared brain aspect of, we just intuitively like take it in turns to check nav and
Mm.
and stuff like that. And it just takes a little bit of extra pressure off.
Yes, you
I
got
was
two brains on the same problem because you're
Yeah.
doing things together. Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
was telling my son about us doing, working together at the end, and he just said really calm. He's very, very practical, as my son, and he goes, "Mum, it's no real surprise then, is it, that these expeditions do it in teams?" I said, I said, "No, you're absolutely right, love." He said, "To do it on your own," he said, "is just really hard and a little bit stupid."
I mean, yeah, he's not wrong. He's not
He's
wrong.
not wrong, is he? He's really not wrong.
No.
So, but with that, I think you know we were good paced, weren't we, Luke? In the fact that we went. I think if you tried to stay with someone who was too fast for you, or who was too slow, or you didn't, or wasn't, dare I say it, pulling their own weight, I
Yeah,
think it would become a really, really because it could be really life threatening out there.
yeah.
You have to take it in turns. You have to be 50-50 all the time.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I think if you got the wrong person with you, or someone who was, sometimes in the spine race, you've got people who are just following you because you're nav, or you're doing this, whatever. Yeah, it has to be equal. It has to be equal all the time. And I
Yeah.
think that was really important, that we were really equal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we figured out when I'm saying this, but I think we figured out we could trust each other because
Yeah.
we could see each other, like, even though you were sleep deprived and hadn't eaten much, you were still thinking clearly. And so, like, I knew that you had my back, and and that means you can trust each other. I think that's really important.
Yeah, definitely. And we both knew that we were still making sensible decisions, and each decision was sort of the same ones that I'd thought of, or you think, yeah, that's fine. And if you know, when you were saying about you getting wet and you sort of thought, I'll let Kirsty know if I don't warm up. If you'd have
Yeah,
stopped at that point and said, I have to put the tent up, we'd have just gone into it. Yeah, okay, that's
yeah,
fine. Right, off we go. Put the tent up, da-di-da, let's get in, let's get warm. So
yeah,
there wouldn't have been, there's no, you haven't got time to and fro, or even have those conversations, have you? You've just got to do
no,
it there and then. So I think that was really good that we both had each other's back. It did make me laugh though, Luke. This is nothing about you. We were saying, weren't we? I can't remember, and it wasn't in the spine. I'll come back to the spine guys in a minute and the media team, but I think it was reported in my home newspaper that it was really, really good because I'd managed to keep up with Luke.
yeah, I know.
Wasn't it? And it's just a thing that really winds me up, Kate, all the time, is because whenever you travel, whether it be on the spine or doing an adventure or something with a guy, it always means that, oh, Kirsty's teamed up with Luke. It's never Luke's teamed up with Kirsty, and it was in the paper, I think, that it was Kirsty managed to keep up with Luke, which was probably true.
Made me laugh as well.
But
Yeah,
it's
that
just
is a
things
bit,
like that.
isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I'd be having
But
most.
just sorry, Kate. Yeah, sorry.
Go
Yeah,
on.
but coming back to spine media and everything. Nothing. Speaking at it from a female point of view, I could not be supported more with those spine guys. They were just amazing, and the media team, they report it really, really well, and the training team. Well, you were saying this, Luke, as well, not just because I'm female, but they just quietly point you in the right direction without you really knowing it, about kit,
Yeah.
about checking in on you. Like Alex had just got you. He said, I just
Did,
noticed your finger. You put your hands under your arms and something's not right here. Let's have a chat about that. They just had
yeah.
your back the
I
whole
mean, they
time.
don't. Yeah, but they don't tell you what to do. They
No, they don't.
like one of the guys had a problems with his tent, and they waited for him to go to them to say, I need to sort my tent out, and they went, okay, yeah, we've got one ready for you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What did they say? They said, we've been using it as a doorstop this week. Ready for you.
Yeah, but it's like, if you don't recognize that you need help, then that's a signal to them that you shouldn't be doing it.
And know to ask for help, presumably.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. But they all the time, they just want you to get out there and enjoy it. They want you to have a great time. They want you to go and test your limits. They can't be more enthusiastic about it, but they want you to do it in put you right on the very edge of what you're capable of. Yes. But
Yeah.
obviously they want you to be safe as well. So I've just got immense amount of time for those guys. The guys who've trained us, the medics were just amazing, because this is another
Amazing,
one of my
weren't they?
disastrous things as well, was my migraine the day of the so I get these hormonal migraines about, I don't know. Anyway, they appeared the night before my assessment, and it came out at its worst on the day of the assessment. So I went to James, the medic, and sort of said, I know there's probably nothing you can give me, but I've been sick, and can you give me some Diarrhea that can get me, more hydrated and stuff? And he came back with these, I don't know what they were, wonder pills, and within 45 minutes, my migraine had gone, bless him, and I was able to do the thing. But it was just shocking, right on the day of my assessment. Anyway, so that's that. But they were brilliant, weren't they, Luke? The guys out there, just amazing.
They're amazing. Yeah, I mean, the fact that the medics, that was their holiday.
Yeah,
all volunteers.
yeah,
Bonkers.
yeah.
Well, I mean, an amazing experience for them, I imagine, as well. I mean, I've worked on the spine, I've been on the safety team. I know, like, it's just as much fun on the other side. Definitely.
Yeah. I've volunteered. I've done checkpoint and a bit of safety team as well. So it is really good doing it from the other side, isn't it? You learn loads. That's how I learned a lot of stuff going into it. But it's good.
I have zero FOMO, though, I have to say.
Fair enough. Well, most people I've told as well.
Something like the Arctic. I think the Arctic appeals so much more. But
does it? Oh, good. Get there. We need more women get out there and have a go and just,
Oh, well,
yeah, do it.
I have zero experience, so
Neither did I, Kate. I didn't at all, at
No,
all.
not me.
No, Luke didn't. It's
No.
that's the thing. I think it feels a bit like a little, and the spine don't make it like this, but I think it's just become this is a bit of a club for people. Oh well, you need to be able to ski, you need to be able to do this, you need to be able to do that. You really don't. You
mm,
really don't. Obviously, you need to have a conversation with Phil and you need to have got some experience and things, but more so camping, looking after yourself, more adventure side really than
Yeah.
anything else. And definitely, my God, if I can do that, then you really can. You really, really can. I am absolutely nothing. I am no athlete. I am nothing special at all. But it was, yeah, you've got to learn your trade, haven't you, Luke? You've got to learn it.
Yeah.
You've got to research it. You've got to look into it. You've just things that you can be doing. Like I'm just thinking I could go in that freezer and learn how to put my tent up there in that freezer.
oh, that's
But
hilarious.
it is managing yourself, I think, is the biggest thing. And you only get that from doing long ultras or adventures or you
Mm,
know.
mm.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, yeah. But it wasn't about speed. Well, not for us. It wasn't about speed. There was still a lot of time that you could have done it in. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's not the fastest by any stretch. But it's the ones who look after themselves, I think. Yeah,
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 sure. I think, Luke, I'd like to actually just circle back because we couldn't hear you earlier when
yeah.
I asked you about the sort of the flip from when you were wanting to be very competitive, then
Mm.
realizing that you had to be sensible and stop and eat and sleep. Um, but then you came second nevertheless.
Yeah.
How has that changed your perception of racing, and what will you take from that into your next race?
I've realized that actually by not obsessing about being fast or the actual race, it frees up a whole load of your brain to focus on actually doing it,
Okay.
and also there's space to kind of look around and enjoy yourself. And I think for me that's the biggest shift, is that enjoy it, and then kind of good things happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You were repaid. Um,
Yeah, yeah. So I've got my next race is um, 24-hour track race I do every year.
what was that?
Um,
Sorry.
it's a 24-hour track race.
Oh, good Lord. Why?
Yeah. Well, I do it every year because it's quirky and small and attracts certain kind of people that I quite like.
Okay.
Um, and it's one of those things. It's a great leveler, and I realised that actually, if you just relax into it and go at your own pace, run your own race, then you'll do what you do, and that's the best way to approach it.
But isn't that great, actually, that the lessons you've learned on doing this Arctic expedition, you can
Mm.
apply that to a 24-hour track race?
Yeah, yeah. It
Mm.
seems crazy, but
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I think that's brilliant, actually. It doesn't matter what does it for you, what format does it for you.
yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I've taken up your time today. Thank you both so much. Uh,
Thank you. Okay, yeah.
massive
Yeah.
congratulations to you both, and I look forward to seeing. Well, good luck, Luke, on your race. Kirsty,
Thank you.
what's next for you? Have you even thought about it?
No, no. I think I just just turning everything. It's just turning everything over. And I do think just before we finish off is one thing Luke's a very deep thinker, and we both sort of said halfway around or when we were doing that night, nothing to prove to anybody about anything. And I think that's a huge big thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time when you land back from something like that, this is massive, and life changes, and it is quite a life changing sort of thing. And sometimes you can be tempted into, well, I've got to enter something bigger, I've got to do something more. And sometimes you just think, do you know, I haven't got anything to prove, and what do I want to do? And so it might be that I end up back there next year. I don't know yet, but I do think, if nothing else, you need to give yourself a bit of time and work out what you want to do, and maybe not always rush into doing something bigger.
Yeah.
Because where does that stop? As well, you know, like, where does that stop? I love to do something every year that tests me and makes me train hard and makes me do something that is out my comfort zone. But that doesn't always necessarily mean that it's massive big races. So I don't know. You know, I might be back there. I just think at the moment, being stood on that start line, knowing what's coming, I think, oh my God.
Well, those very wise words. I will say thank you very much, and yeah, good luck, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you later.